Hello! Welcome to Crochet Creations by Christi. And I have a Creating with Christi video today. And so I'm going to go ahead and talk about all the things that I've been working on in the last couple days. And today I have some Bigelow I Love Lemon Tea instead of coffee, because I want to keep my voice from getting hoarse, I think. I'm not quite sure if I have allergies or what, but hey, you know what? We're having a heck of a snowstorm, so what better way than to make stuff together? The first item on the list is the Hats, and More Hats Easy Street Yarn Inspiration Tutorial. I'm using an H hook with that, and I'm just going to do a little bit on this hat with everyone, because that'll give you a little idea of how beautiful that this Premier Everyday yarn works up. Now this one is a busy moss oak colorway. So, 4 medium yarn, 180 yards, beautiful, really, really soft. As you can see, it is a 4. In my opinion, it is. This is all just my opinion. So, I've been using one of these stitch markers to mark the round, the first single crochet in the round. And then I've been using a different one to mark where I am. So as you can see, you start in the middle. And this tutorial is free. It's on Yarn Inspirations. Mikey from the Crochet Crowd tells you how to make this hat. And it's done in the moss stitch. The moss stitch is where you single crochet every row. And chain 1 so that your stitches go in between your single crochets. So I am past the increase rows, and I'm just doing the body of the hat. So I'm going to just do a couple, another row together. And this is something that I've done a couple times, where I've worked on 4 or 5 different whips and talked and made videos that you can sit and crochet to. And just check how easily this yarn just slides on my hook. It is very easy to crochet and not split. Well, I'm using the Susan Bates soft grip at this point, and the Susan Bates has an inline hook, so it's very sharp and it has a very deep edge. So if anything is going to get caught, it will. I still choose this even when I have yarns that don't work very well with these, because that is what I'm used to. I'm not used to my yarn falling off of my hook. And if you're using a hook that's not an inline, it tends to fall off the hook many times in a row, and that to me is irritating. So that's why I like the Susan Bates. And I don't know if I ever said why I liked them. Probably one of the reasons why I like them so much is because that's what I was taught with, and so that's what I was used to. And the first time I, got a bag given to me from someone that had any other kind of hook in it, I thought, what is this? And I think there was a couple of Heroes and a couple of boy needles in I say needles because that's what I call them, but they're hooks. Boy hooks in a bag, and I tried it, and I thought, I can't use this. And all I kept doing was dropping the loop off of my hook. It wouldn't slide. So when you come around the end of your row, in this particular stitch, you will slip stitch to your first single, and then you will, before you start the next row, you will slip stitch into the next chain one space, chain one, and do your single, so that your stitches are offset from each other. And I usually do 2 or 3, and then I usually put my stitch marker back in after that. And you know, sometimes I'll use handmade, sometimes I'll use these, but I notice that a lot of times when I use these, it's because they're the easy. If you're going to be taking it on and off every single row, these are easier to use to do that. The fancier ones I use just to have fun and use them, but maybe not to take on and off every single row. So that is my hat for March. And it's probably about halfway done. I like this right through here. This is really pretty. Yeah. And when I got to here, I thought that looked like a tam. Not a tam, but a men's Jewish cap. When you got right to there, it worked out very well for that. Yeah. Alright, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the stitch marker on here and go ahead and reach behind me and pull out the other hat that I'm working on. We'll put this one back in this bag. This is a bag I got from Lori Gray a few years back. The next hat that I'm going to show you is a knitted hat. And I think my pattern is in here, in the same bag, because it won't fit in the other bag. So let's see. This one I showed on the video yesterday. This is a bag I got from Etsy. It's just a drawstring. Nobody, I don't even know who I got it from. They don't have a podcast. They just make bags. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll turn the bag down. It makes for a nice little basket. Stands up by itself. It's kind of cool. This pattern is the January Accessory Club pattern. It is a knitted pattern, and it's using the Malabrigo yarn. And I can't show the pattern because it's a paid for club, and the pattern comes with your club membership. So we got this beautiful Malabrigo yarn, and this is the January Club. So I'm a little behind. As you can see, this is the bag that I take to work with me a lot of times. And there are other things in here. There's a little box of stitch markers in here. There's some more of these caps. I usually put the tag in from whatever I'm working on, and this is the Arco Iris colorway. This is Superwash Merino, and here's a close-up of the pattern. As you can see, there is like a waffle effect. You're doing 6 rows, and then you alternate and go and change and do 6 rows. So your 6 rows of knit and 6 rows of purl alternating. I mean, 2 knit, 2 purl, 2 knit, 2 purl for 6 rows. That's what I meant, 6 rows this way. And I got this from, I believe, a knit crate early on, a while back. It may not have been, but when I got it, I looked at it and said, oh, I can't use this because I didn't knit. And ever since I started knitting, I have it on something all the time. These are from one of the creators here. She sent it to me in a smile mail. Yep, so if we just want to do a couple stitches of these. This is a 16-inch circular Chai-Gu needle. And this is just the way that I have been knitting. It may not be the way that everyone knits, but it's the way that I have been knitting. It's kind of the continental, I believe. And I think it's very effective. I don't have to move too much. I used to hate the purl so bad before I figured out this way of doing it. Yeah, so now I feel that I have conquered moving back and forth between knit and purls. It is wrapped around my little finger so it stays near my work, and I just move my hand. Yep, so that is my adaptive way I've started doing the purl. Beautiful yarn. This is Superwash Merino Malabrigo. It is a 4, but it is light 4. And some of you got some in your kit when you bought the January box. And oh my gosh, don't you just love it? It is just gorgeous. I am getting close to having to read the pattern to see if I've made the body, because it's probably going to tell me to do 5 or 6 inches, and I have to see how far I came. Let's see. Oh, that's right. You use 2 sizes of needles in this one. You use the smaller size, I believe. Yeah, smaller size for the ribbing, and then you went up a size for the next. We're gonna do this 4 times for a regular fit, 5 times for a slouchy. So round 7 through 12, repeat 1 through 12, 4 times for regular fit. Okay, so 1, 2, okay, so 2 more times. So your 12 rows 4 times. So I just finished row 5 of 6 of my 12. Okay, so that's 1 section, 2 section. I'm gonna do another row of 2, and then it'll be 3 and 4. So that's, I'm not quite halfway done with the body then. All right. I'm going to take out a couple more items today and show you so that we can have a full day of taping. And ask all of you if you'd like to come in tomorrow on Sunday. There'll be a new make-along starting. We're going to do a shawl together. And I'm just winging my own pattern. I hadn't announced it yet, but I wanted to wait till today to see how I really felt, if I wanted to, you know, use my own, because I had thought about it long enough, but not tested it long enough to know for sure if I wanted to do it today. So I wasn't real confident, and now I'm a little bit more confident because I had a tester work on it with me. So I was like, all right, well, I guess we can use that pattern tomorrow. So it is not written. It is just noted, like it's in my notes on a scrap piece of paper, basically. So that ought to be fun. So there is that hat up close. All right, so I'm going to put that one away. Put that pattern in there after all. And then we're going to move on to the Glorious Granny. Glorious Granny is a make-along that's running this year, 2022. I am using cake yarn for my inside of my squares. So here's the square I'm working on right now. The inside of my square, which is here to here this time. Let's see if you can see there. The inside is done with an ombre, mandala ombre, 4 medium. The color on these are chai, and I think the other one, I think I have 2 different purples. I know I do. And let me see if I can get that one out. See if I can see the colorway on it. Yes, it's Joy. So this one is called Joy Mandala Ombres. So I have a bunch of these. See how the colors are different than this one. This is the Chai. So I figured I would use a couple different ones, and I would have to put this stuff back that I took down because I moved some things around to grab that cake. They're up on the back wall. Yeah, so here is your Glorious Granny. What I'm doing is I'm making 1 per month. I'm hoping I can keep up. These are big squares. Mine are coming out about 20 inches. This is row. Okay, this is how I've been counting my rows. Start with the middle and work 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I ended up doing 12 rows of this mandala ombre. And then 13, 14, 15. This one, the colorway, the yarn that I started after row 12 is called I Love This Yarn. And this is a print one. And the colorway on this one is called Winter Flowers. And talk about beautiful. Look at that. I'm going to need a couple more of these. I know I am. Because I already used almost 1 whole roll on the first month square. So, alright. So I'm using an eye hook on this square. And when I get to the end of my row, I've been starting it on the left of a corner, going around the row and coming back around to the right hand side of a corner and ending with a half double in the top of the first double. So that's how I've been ending my corners. But if you start with the way that Craig tells you, because I'll be linking the tutorial for him, he is the fiber spider. You do not start in the corner, but once you cut your yarn, you can start your second yarn wherever you want, and that happened to be where I started it. So then I'm just chaining 2 and doing 2 doubles in this left hand side of the corner, chain 1, jump over here, and wrap your yarn twice, go down and underneath that 1, and there's your first section of this Glorious Granny. The next one you're going to skip. You did chain 1, so you're going to jump all the way over here. Yeah, so this pattern is very fun because you're doing something different. It's not boring. You're getting texture. You got a lot of color going on if you're using an ombre like I am, and then changing up your different, changing up and having a different outside edge. And none of my squares are going to look alike. They're all going to be different because I'm never going to start exactly in the same place. I'm never going to have the exact pattern of colors coming over here on my edges. I'm doing 19 rows of the regular pattern, and then my last row I'm doing a single crochet row, and that single crochet row I'm doing in a dark, hang on 2 seconds, not dark, but I'm a raspberry. It is still, and I love this yarn, but it is in a raspberry. So what I'm going to do is this raspberry is what I'm going to sew it together with. So here's my other square. See how that one had the gray starting in the middle? Yeah. Totally different from the lavender starting in the middle. Yeah, they're just growing on me. There is a little bit of a stretchy square, but you know what? When you get them all sewn together, you're never going to even notice that they that they aren't exactly perfectly square. The mosaic or the textured pattern is very different, and a lot of the girls that are doing it have noticed. But they are having a lot of fun. Everybody's is different colors. I've been going through, and every month I've been giving away some stitch markers, and I've been hand making them sets of stitch markers and pulling out a name out of the wheel, and having a great time with this year-long make-along. So that's the third thing I wanted to show you today, and this yarn is just beautiful. All of these are not splitting. They're really soft. They go together well. And so that's my update on that. All right, I am back again with the fourth work in progress that I have. This one is in one of the bags I got from Nancy. Nancy hasn't been on the channel in a while, commenting or what have you, and so I am concerned, but maybe she'll be back someday. And in the meantime, I will use her items as much as I can. There's a little bit of a halo on this yarn, which again you can see on the side of the bag when I opened it. This yarn is a lavender color sparkle. And as we take this out, you will be able to tell that I've used just about this whole entire cake. This is a cake I got from one of the stores here. It's called Job Lots. And apparently they buy out any clearance items from different places. And they bought out some Lion Brand yarns. And one of them was the Winter Nights. It has got a sequence in it. This yarn is very fuzzy. It has a little bit of a bead right into the yarn, like a sequence. It is not scratchy at all. I can hardly feel that. The color on this one is lavender, and it says Whisperfection. It is a 4 medium, and it has 186 yards in it, 65% acrylic and 35% polyester. So I thought I would knit a baby sweater with it. I am using a vanilla pattern, and the choice of increases is a raglan down. Let's move the bag a little bit to the left over here. And the construction is anyway, and yet I have not really picked a specific pattern. I just took 55 stitches and started knitting the collar, and then when I got 6 rows done, I started the increases for the sleeves and the body. So as you can see, I am almost done with the body. I'm doing it on a circular needle, but I'm still knitting it flat. I am on the last row of the body. So you can see I'm starting the garter stitch again. That matches the top. And that'll be the last row before I bind off for the body. And then I've got my sleeves on these needle, or I should say they're stitch holders. And I'm going to try doing my sleeves this time with a 10-inch circular. So we're going to try that. I don't know whether I'm going to like it, but in the meantime, we're going to find out. And like I said, if I don't, I can always rip it back and pick the stitches back up and put them on a straight needle, or put them on magic loop. And that, you know, that ought to be easy enough to pick them back up. You can always put a lifeline in at the armpit there. Try your sleeves out in magic loop if you don't like it, or if you've got yourself some ladders that you don't like, then you can always just knit it flat and sew up the sleeve of the armpit to the cuff, just like you do in your crochet sweaters. Now, some people will say, well, I don't crochet sweaters either. And, well, it is not that hard. If you look at your cuff afterwards, your cuff is going to be about 6 rows, and it's going to be obvious that the end row meets up with the end row, and then the next one, and then the next one, and then all you'll have left is a body of a sleeve, and you can just match the rows up and just whip stitch your inside seam and make sure there's no hole at the underarm. Just close it up and you're done. But if you can't do that, maybe you can watch a tutorial where someone does it, because I think that there are a ton of them out there. So this is, like I said, this is my last row of the body. I'll be binding off next row, and then I can start the sleeves. Quite excited about this one. I do have one whole entire cake left of this yarn, so I should be able to finish a decent set with this, and a hat and some booties to match or something like that. I haven't decided if that's what I'm going to do yet, but probably. So I was working on all those other sweaters and stuff. I didn't finish this one in that quick of time. I think I started this, I don't know, maybe in November. When I got the yarn, I think, is when I started it. But, you know, to me, I don't mind having 3 and 4 whips going. I really don't. I don't mind, because sometimes you are on a part of it where you cannot be disturbed and you have to count. So you want to do that when you're alone and not, you know, not having to worry about someone constantly talking to you. And so that would be a stage of that whip where, you know, you have to put it down. You can't watch TV with it. Then you might have another one, like the one that I have here. This one, it was just mindless the last couple rows because I was doing the body and all I had to do was knit and purl, knit and purl, knit and purl. So because I did 3 buttonholes, I didn't have any buttonholes to worry about either for the rest of the body of the sweater. So that was kind of cool. Oh yeah, and I haven't picked out what buttons for this one yet either. I need to do that. All right. All right, I think I'm going to turn it off, and I'm going to come back with the next segment in just a second. Okay, I'm sorry. I was interrupted there for a second. I'm going to finish this row. In the meantime, let's see. What happened today was we started a snowstorm about 11:30, 12 o'clock last night. It is still snowing, and it is now 5 o'clock on Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon, and it's still snowing. So we have probably 10 to 11 inches, something like that, and it's just a winter wonderland again. Last Wednesday afternoon we got 8 inches, and that 8 inches was almost melted by Friday night. There was hardly anything left of it, but by the time this storm that's here now started, there was hardly anything left from the storm on Wednesday. And I think that's going to happen again, because they're talking somewhere in the 40s and 50s Wednesday, 50 Thursday, and then maybe 60s on Friday this week. So that ought to be warm enough to melt all of this that we just got. I think it's going to continue to be blowing and drifting this evening into tomorrow, so it's going to be a pain to get it cleaned up for plows, because it drifts back out on the roads and then they have to go back out again, stuff like that. But that amount of birds I saw was amazing. the red-winged blackbirds and the bunch of birds that I saw, the robins and things that we've seen this week. So that's my last row of 6 for the bottom of the sweater. And I did 5 inches from the underarm to that. So the next row will be a knit row, and it'll be bind off. So I'll do that later. And we will move on to the 5th piece that I brought out today, the whip, and that will be the 1,500 subscriber Afghan that I am putting together from the squares sent in by the creators of the channel. So a couple of times now I've brought out some squares and I sewed the edges on, and I am going to show you 10 today that I have done today. I'm using the Pound of Love to sew them together with and to put the borders on. And depending on what size and what technique the person used determines how I do the border on their square. So this is a 4 medium weight acrylic, premium acrylic yarn. It has 1,020 yards in it. It is a beautiful, soft, antique white colorway, and I should have plenty. And I'll probably put a border on the blanket also. So that's what I'm using for the border. And let's see if I can find a place to put this over here without putting it on the floor. Okay. And I'm using an eye hook to sew them together with. And the next square I will do today, and then I will show you the 9 other ones that I have already done. So this square, and I can't remember who sent them in now. I opened every single one of these smile mails on an addictions video and told you who sent them in. So now I can't remember, which is absolutely fine. But we will go through all the ones I did today. So I only did 9, and see how they'll be just a little bit different, but that's okay because we're going to use a single crochet, chain 1, single crochet to crochet them together, and they will be fine. So these are the ones that got done today. There are 9 of them. And that, like I said, they're not going to be exactly 8 or 9 inches. They will differ just a little bit. But the majority of them will be 9 inches. So aren't they beautiful? And they all have the cream color now around them. Now this one is white and you can't quite see the cream color, but it's there. I put 1 row on. And this one, some are plain, some are really colorful. That is probably one of the biggest squares I got so far. So I'll just have to make them, I'll ease them together. And maybe I'll put that one on the bottom outside row or something. But that is 9 done. And we will go ahead and do number 10 together. This is how I've been doing it. I haven't really paid attention too much on how many stitches. I've just been starting in the corners, making a single crochet, chaining 2, making another single crochet, chaining 1, skipping 1, and just putting a nice little edging all the way down each one of these squares. And I'm not trying to do it real tight either. I'm trying to do it kind of loose. Now, I did hear that Mama Swift is making a blanket. So if you want to pop over onto her channel and see if there's anything in any of the description boxes or the titles of any of her videos that she tells you about sending in a square, what the size is, whatnot. I don't know what size she's getting, and I don't know where you send it. I didn't look to see, but I know I heard her say that she was collecting squares. And then I see that Miss Jill from the Fiber Floozy is now got a new video up, and it looks like she's collecting squares. And hers, I believe, are red, white, and blue ones. But again, I didn't watch the video yet, so I need to check it out and see what that's all about. And I'm not sure if anybody else was doing this. I know there was a couple in the past that have done it. And I think there's somebody that collects them, and she does her blankets for charity. I'm not positive. I know that Rose was doing it for a while and then sending out the blankets to be assembled to people that signed up to do it. Because I remember that Stephanie did one. So there's a chance that Rose still has people sending her squares. I don't know. But they are all going to charity on that channel as well. So this blanket, however, when I get it done, because now I'm just sewing this outside edges on, and then I'm going to sew them together. But when I get it done, I'm going to give it away for the 2,500 subscriber giveaway here on the channel, because it's yet to come. I am far away from it yet. I'm not even to 1,200 yet, so I don't believe. Yeah. Oh yeah, I do have 1,200. I'm not to 1,300 yet. That's right. So yeah, what I've been doing is I've been just checking to see if they're 9 inches or 8.5. That's good enough. And then add in another row if they're not. So let's see. Most of these, now this one, I have a feeling is the biggest one, and it's still 8.5. It looks bigger, but it is still only 8.5, and it does look a heck of a lot bigger than this one. But see there, and this is the biggest one, so I don't think I'm going to go, I don't think I'm going to go around a second time on this one, because it's really not that big. So we'll go ahead and cut that one off. I'll weave in the ends later on this one. All the other ones I finished the ends already. So I have 10 more done. Awesome. All right, the last thing that I have out today to talk about is the little thing that I started doing on my channel recently. And that was, if I knew about somebody that is having a new baby in their family, I have been making a pair of booties for them. So a couple girls got a pair sent to them, and this month I've been waiting to find out the sex of one of the creators here on the channel, and she found out. So I am getting ready to finish booty number 2 of the pair that I am making for her. So what I'm using for this one is a Serdar Snuggly DK. This is just a lot of these I get 1 or 2 skeins of something, and I use them for booties because you don't have enough to really do a lot of other things with it because it's not enough yarn. So this is what I'm using, and I have added a little bit of color, and what I used today to add this color is, I love this cotton. It is a dark blue, says black. Okay, so it's black, but it has a green sparkle, and she loves green, so I thought it would work out well to use the green sparkle. And all it is just an edging. It makes 1 stripe, and then I'm going to add another section at the top for the very last row. So right now I am on row number 17, which is the Parker booty up until the cuff part. So I'm on row 17, which is the double crochet row. I'm using an E-hook today to get a very small size, and this size is going to end up being newborn to about a month, 2 months old, and that's because I went down in size, and I am using a DK, which will give me a 3-inch sole. So that doesn't usually, they don't usually wear past about 3 months. They're pretty small. So this is the DK row, no, the double crochet row. And there are only 3 more rows left to this booty. And as you can see, this Serdar crochets up very well with an E-hook, and it's not splitting at all. And we are coming around to the end of this row already. I have 3 more rows left, and I am going to show you the finished booty because I have one done. Slip stitch to the top of that, 22 stitches on a row at the top, chain 1, and go on to the next row, which is actually a cuff row. So I'm going to double crochet in the first, back double crochet over the second, double crochet in the third, every other stitch around for this cuff row for 22 stitches. So here is the finished booty. I did another row of the black and green flecked for March, and then I added a soccer ball button, and these will be sent out to her probably Monday. Yeah, so I hope she likes them. Hope you enjoyed my video for today, and I hope you all join me tomorrow or on all the lives on the Sunday morning. Take a moment out of each day and be creative, and I'll talk to you all later. Bye for now.